Swadika, Wanasan Karhong, and welcome to Be My Guest, the program that brings you the successful stories of institutions and entrepreneurs in both domestic and international arena. Today, we will learn about the business programs offered at Bangkok University that allow students to use their knowledge to give back to the society. Here with Dr. Siriwan Rattanakhan, the Vice President for International Affairs at Bangkok University. Swadika. Now, of course, we're here and at the Bangkok University. However, the curiosity that we have today, though, is the department that you're actually looking after. What is it, and what does it do?
Well, in fact, I'm in charge of the International College, which offer degree programs, lecture all in English. And one among those departments is the marketing department.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Now, we have heard that the marketing departments has been trying to explore different ways to, I guess, enhance and getting the students ready for the real world.
Right.
What is the two important programs right now that we are running?
Well, what we're trying to do is not to teach only theories, but still the student need to be able to implement and apply all the theories that they have learned in class and then implement it out into different kinds of projects and marketing plans.
Now, we have heard of Bkk for Kids, and of course, I believe that that's a social responsibility programs kind of thing. Can you explain on that a little bit?
Well, it is one of the major elective classes, and this year they decide to work on Guerrilla Marketing, which is the new kind of marketing plan.
And I have to stop you with Guerrilla. In the case of not primates, gorilla,
have
obviously,
to do with
they're not going to walk like a primate.
No,
trying to get funding.
Okay, if you're familiar with guerrilla marketing, you will know that it's an unconventional way to do marketing promotion. This year, the students have to come up with a marketing plan using this technique, and also the fund that they raise throughout the campaign will be donated to the NGO.
What's the difference from guerrilla marketing from the other type? Because I have no background whatsoever, so I'm just curious.
Okay, if you're thinking about regular marketing campaign, they might do like promotion at the sale point or of the advertising on media, or of the banner, of the poster, things like that. But here, this is different, unconventional way to surprise customers and make them aware of the brand. For example, some of our students use the campaign, how can I say, they implement by the dance, the flash mob dance.
Flash mob, I'm familiar with flash mob. That's when it's almost like you're in a musical theater. All of a sudden everybody is dancing, they know the routine, they know the choreography.
They did that, and another thing that they use a lot is the viral, the campaign through all the media like Facebook,
social media,
Instagram. Yes,
So that's like one of the things that they do. Is that same thing as restaurant marketing, another program that you have?
That one is the different class. That one involves more planning in terms of budget and also menu planning, things like that as well. Yeah, that's another class.
Why food industry though? Why not like other things that, for example, something that would stay for a while, like clothing or things like that?
Well, restaurant will stay for a while too. As you know, right now the food industry in Thailand is very booming. And a lot of my students that have graduated, they even go into the industry of food services, catering, even cooking school, things like that. So there's demand of students that want to study more in that field.
So after learning the marketing course, because normally it's the other way around, we would go, through culinary school and then we find the marketing course. but for here it's different.
Well, some of them have background in culinary already, or some also taking workshop on culinary concurrently with the degree program here too.
Oh, okay.
And conventionally, a lot of people that graduated and then go further for cooking school as well.
So how did you come up with the ideas? I mean, for marketing, I would say anything that allows you to make profits, go for that. What makes these two different?
It's also come with all the ethics, hygienics, things like that too when you go into the industry about food and services.
So that's how like the ideas come up with. Now I heard that Buick for Kids, part of the profits would go towards the charity,
right,
I believe.
Right.
Okay.
They decide different NGO each year that which NGO that they will donate the money to. For this year, they decide to help the Child Foundation in Krong Tay slum area.
Okay. Now, when you have this course, obviously everything involves money. Even like for marketing, when you start up doing anything of that sort, how do the students find the funding? Like, does the university have to provide that for them to start up, or are they having to raise the funding themselves?
Both. The student also come up with some funding for them to start their activities, and also the student have to do fundraising. The big part come from their fundraising and sponsorships.
How many years now that this has been running?
3 years.
Okay. My big question is, any shortcomings? Anything that kind of like, you know what, we did not expect that to happen to the project at all, but it did. And how did you go across it?
What I say is that the students, they're also taking other classes at the same time too.
Right.
So sometimes they cannot dedicate as much time as they would like to because they also have other classes to attend. So that is one thing that the student need to manage.
So time management.
Time management.
Which is, I believe that in the real world,
they need to manage that too. Yeah. Everyone has deadline to meet.
What about conflict? Because obviously you have said that the Guerrilla flash mob, that cannot be 5 people. That gotta be more than that. How do you, is there any problem arise at all that you have to, consult with your students?
We have mentors. We have the faculty to be the advisor of each group. Yes, throughout the process, there are the up and down, the feeling of the students.
The tears.
Yeah, right. But the advisor will be the one that help them giving advice and then get everyone to, gather together and pull it out to make it possible.
So the students, they really feel the taste of the real world.
Right.
Now, I have heard that for the Buick for Kids, it's not just giving the money. It's also, you require them to be involved as well. Can you explain on that a little bit?
Well, for example, like last year that there's a big fire in the slum area in Krong Tay.
Which is around this area, because this is where it's
so
situated.
So the student, once they raise the fund, they go out and buy the mattress and all the pillows for the kids in the nursery because all been in fire already. So it's not only just to give money, but they have to survey what will be better for the community, how they will help them.
Oh, so I can see that, like relating to marketing, that is. So you have to look for the demand before you come up with the supplies, obviously. After doing that, do you see any progress in the students at all?
Most of the students, they graduate after they're taking these courses, and some of them still involved in all different kinds of campaign, even come back and work with the young group.
So this is something that university has to offer.
Yes.
Now, getting back to the restaurant marketing itself, would you mind like give us the, I guess the outline of the course itself? Like what do they have to do? Because you talk about the menu, and I'm just wondering, like not everyone has a background in culinary, obviously. So what do you do? Like what do you have to do?
Yes, of course, they have to take all those classes or the lecture on marketing.
Right.
But we also invite guest speakers who are expert in the area of food and beverage to also train them on how to develop the menu, how to work on the budget, how to create the theme of the restaurant.
The theme. What do you mean with the theme?
You have
of the
heard the
restaurant?
word like theme restaurant,
Yeah.
right? For example, they have the restaurant in Korea with all the kitty, all those animation.
Cat cafe?
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that. So here too, each group they have to come up with a theme of their restaurant to be able to market their restaurant. So some of them have the theme as Japanese, some of them have the theme as fusion food, things like that.
Do you have to guide them though? I mean,
Yes.
this idea could be.
Yes.
How do
Yes.
you select? You know, how do you pick? Like this won't work. This will work.
It happened every time. Nothing will work on the first time, on
Right,
the first trial.
right.
So through the process and also with the help of the advisor and our guest speakers, it's a long process, but finally we'll come up with the final result.
Can you think of any like extremely wild idea that you kind of like? Would that work? But it worked. Is there any project like that?
Last time they came up with like signature drink.
Okay.
Some of the kids that never, mix drinks, but
Okay.
they turn out to be a very good mixology. They came up with a
Really?
signature drink to reflect their restaurant. I was surprised.
So, but these are non-alcoholic.
None, right? Virgin
Because
mojitos and something like that.
Because
Yeah.
obviously you cannot do that in university.
Right.
So our viewers not going to be like, oh, it's a booze class. That's going to be
No,
fun. Okay. Now, but when we talk about cooking, you say that you have, the guest speaker come out and talk about it. How do you test? Like, do you have a kitchen for them?
Yeah, we have the kitchen, but they also went to the restaurant, to the cooking school outside of the campus.
So almost
too.
like a field trip
Yes,
for them.
yes,
Okay.
like a workshop off campus.
Right. And that's very hand-on. They have to
Very
try
hands-on.
everything.
Everyone have to cook, and then they have to come up with their final product. They taste their own cooking. They take their cooking home for their mom.
Right. And maybe continue
Right.
eating
Right,
at home,
right.
cooking for them at home as well. Now, what about going back, sorry, I'm going back and forth here. For the Buick Kids though, we talked about the charity part because, that's the part when we talk about kids. But what about the project part? Obviously, it's not going to be a restaurant, right? It's going to be something else. What are the projects?
For the for kids, they do the fundraising, like I said, by create the brand awareness. So they do all kind of viral clip, and
Right.
then the student have to, share and click like, and then that will relate to the money that people will donate according to the the number of likes that they receive.
Okay. Now, for the first break, obviously we run out of time because we've been talking on and on. But for the second break, I'm probably going to have to ask you to elaborate a little bit on the donation parts. Okay. So please stay tuned because we're going to talk a lot more on which charity do they pick and how do they involve. So stay tuned.